Shabbat shalom, everybody, and you are welcome to the Shabbat of this morning. The Parashat that we are dealing with this morning is Parashat Tzav, and with me to command. And I subtitled the Parashat as Following God's Instruction Precisely. Following God's Instruction Precisely. Don't go to the right, don't go to the left. Say, do exactly what God has commanded you. Remember last week we also talked about, we make mention of this topic. When God said, if God tell you, I want you to take a 2-step, 1, 2. You say, but God, I still have energy, I can go 10 steps. God didn't ask you to go 10 steps. The instruction is 2 steps, 1, 2, stop. If God said, go 2 steps backward, God, I can, improvise, right? Improvise. I can go 10 steps. Don't worry. I want to be more. I want to do more than what you commanded me. No. In the spiritual realm, you don't do that. In the physical realm, maybe you want to impress your boss. Maybe you want to impress your company. Maybe you want to impress the chairman. Whatever you want to do in the physical world, you can do that. But when it comes to the spiritual world, it's very, very sensitive. You can't do that. No. God said 2 steps backward. You do the 2 steps. You stop and you wait for the next instruction. That is the idea. And that's what we're going to talk about this morning. Following God's instruction precisely, exactly as you are commanded. Don't do too much. Don't do less. Do exactly as you are commanded. We have God's rules for the kohanim, for the kohanim's Mishkan practices. The rules of how to offer the offerings. The rules for how to eat the offerings. Remember, there are rules in the kingdom of God. In the sight of God, everything has a rule. God is giving the kohanim the rules on how to do the sacrifices or the offerings. And this is how you have to do. This one has to be sacrificed on the north side. For example, this one has to be sacrificed on the east side. For example, this one has to be sacrificed maybe in the middle. This one has to be sacrificed on the one corner. And you gather the ashes here, you put somewhere here. Everything is precise. Everything is organized. There is no disorganization. Remember in the book of Bereshit, the Torah says in the beginning of God creating the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep, right? And the Spirit of God moved upon the surface of the water. Everything was darkness. Everything was disorderliness. That is the idea. Everything was chaotic, and God does not reside in a chaotic place. The example of this for you to know where God is done. When you come to a synagogue or to a place of worship and everything is disorganized, know that God is not there. No. In the place of God, everything is organized. And God commands the nature to be organized. And everything becomes organized. The sun stayed there and all the planets move around it. There is no organization. So this is the idea that we are talking about. When God put all this organization, even though in the temple, even though in the Mishkan, do this. This is your own part, this is your own part to do, your own part to do, and your own part and my own part to do. And everything is done exactly as God has commanded. So, and also God gave us the precise how to even eat the offerings. Remember, all the meat, all the cow, all the goat, all the ram has to be eaten. It is given, God said, it is given to the world, to the kohanim, to Aaron and his sons after him. It's an eternal decree. So when you bring that ram, or that goat, or that cow, or that whatever the animal for the sacrifice, or the flour for the sacrifice, because people will say, okay, you cannot be, your sin cannot be forgiven if you don't bring an animal. No. Your sin can be forgiven even though you don't have the money to buy animals. Even though you only have flour, whatsoever you have, that is the idea. The idea is not that you should go and break the bank. The idea is not that for you to go and steal to buy a goat or an animal for you for God to forgive you your sin. No! All those things is just a teaching. Whatsoever you have, bring it. And it's about the entire thing is about your intention. The intention leads to act. So you say, oh God, this is what I have. I only have a flour. I'm bringing it before you. Forgive me my sin. God will accept it, and God will forgive you your sin. The idea that without the shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness of sin, that is a lie. This is not in the Torah. It's not Torah based. It is not Torah based. If you have more money for a cow, good. You have money for a goat, sit down. You have money for a ram, wonderful. And you don't have anything, you have the money for only a turtle dove. Bring the turtle dove. And you don't even have the money for the turtle dove, you have a flower in your house, bring the flower in your house. God will forgive you. What God is talking about here is about life, because we know everything, all these things that is mentioned in the Torah, there is one thing that is common among them all. The commonness among them all is the life that they possess. They all have life. That's what God is saying. This is an exchange of life. Your life, and their life in exchange of yours. That is it. And God forgive you your iniquity and your sin. So this is what the Torah is saying. And Rashi talks about the Parashat of this morning that we're discussing, saying that at the end of the Parashat, it says in the book of Leviticus chapter 8 verse 36, saying, and Aaron and his son did everything which the Eternal has commanded Moshe. So the idea now is, why did the Torah mention this particular verse? Why did the Torah say, and Aaron and his son did everything according to what God has commanded Moshe? Why? Because we know that the Torah can be simple if you want. The Torah can just say, you know what, and they did everything, simple. Or they obey, simple. But why the Torah has take the time to tell us that it mentioned their names, Aaron and his sons did everything according to what God has commanded Moshe. So they did. Why this expression in the Torah? Rashi was asking. And so he said, and Rashi was even, and the Torah was even specific. There was a specification there. Their names, Aaron and his sons. So now the idea is now this. Why didn't the Torah just say they did so? And it's simple. And why the specific? And Rashi answered this question. He said, to give them merit for precisely following God's instruction and not improvising at all. They did not sway to the left or to the right. Often, not being creative is very hard. See, in worshiping, it is one of our sages, his name is Gur Areyeh, says that in worshiping, getting it right is as important as feeling right. So this is the idea. The idea is this, that Aaron and his son, they did not improvise. They did not say, you know what, let me improve it. Let me improve on what Moshe said. No. God said, do this, you do. Because the hardest thing for a man, remember, this is our problem from the beginning. The hardest thing for a man is to listen. We don't listen. We don't follow instructions. God said, the day you eat of the tree, the day you die. Simple instruction. Don't eat. It's not hard. Do not eat. But no. We need to improve. Maybe this is good. This is fantastic. Let me take taste of it. Maybe something. The instruction is simple. Don't eat. Why don't we listen? Why are we not? Why is our ears so deaf? It goes in here, it comes out here. Hallelujah! I go up. I become. As far as I come out, I become the old man. So this is what God is saying. Just listen. God is telling Aaron and his son, well done. You've done perfect. Because you did not improve, or you did not decrease, or you don't go to the right, or you did exactly as you are commanded. That is it. The word of God is not hard. The Torah always tells us it's not hard. We, human beings, make it hard. It's simple. God said, stay here, you stay here, and you wait. When God says, okay, move 10 steps, you move 10 steps. And you wait for the next instruction. If God says, sit down here, you sit down and say, you know what, my bum is paining me. I need to stand up. God didn't say, stand up. Sit. And you wait. And when God says, okay, stand up. You stand up. Because if you move backward 2 steps, you move backwards 2 steps. Don't say you can move back 10 steps. I have energy, it's too strong. No. 2, you wait. Or 3, you wait. So we need to follow exactly what the Holy One, blessed be He, is telling us. Then he brought near the second ram, the inauguration ram, and Aaron and his son laid their hand upon the head of the ram. He slaughtered it, and Moshe took some of his blood and placed it upon the middle part of the ears of Aaron, upon the right thumb, and upon the right toes of their right foot. Leviticus chapter 8, verse 22 to 24. Why is this? Why taking the blood, putting it in the ear, in the ear, right? It said on the tongue, right, and on the toe. Everything on the right, not on the left. The right ear, the right thumb, and the right toe. Why this bizarre kinds of ritual? What is God teaching us through this? What is God telling us through this? Why not the left? Why not put it on the left too? Or also say, you know what? I put on the right ear, on the left thumb, and on the right toe. Or maybe vice versa, change it, the way you want. But God said everything is on the right. Why everything on the right? Why not on the left? Maybe some of us think, I'm smarter than God. I can do the left side, I can put on the left side. Maybe something different will happen. Something different might happen. But God is saying on the what? On the right side. So let's see what our sage said. The Torah is filled with all ceremonies, especially in the book of the Leviticus. One of the oldest, at least to the Western mind, is the one described on the day of the ordination of Aaron and his sons. The ram of ordination is sacrificed or offered, and his blood smeared on the priest's right lobe here, and on the right thumb, and on the right big toe, or the feet. What is the meaning of this? There is abundant evidence that doubling the blood of a sacrifice on something is to give it different status, was a common Near Eastern practice. The best known would be the uses of the blood of the Paschal sacrifice on the doorpost on the evening that the Israelites were to leave Egypt, so as to protect the inhabitants from the angels of death. But other civilizations and culture of the ancient world used to do the same thing. In such culture, they smear the vulnerable part of an object to protect it from outside forces, or you might say from the negative energy. This apotropic protection will guard against negative energy and will keep the object pure. When Moshe dubbed Aaron and his sons, he was doing exactly or essentially the same thing. So, what am I trying to say in all these things? He said that in the Near East, among the Eastern people, I don't know, in the Western people, it's not commonly, the Greek word. It's not common, because in the 21st century, if I kill a cow now here, I'm telling you in 2 seconds, police will come. I'll be arrested. So why are you killing a cow here? You cannot kill a cow here. There is a special place to kill a cow. They call them abattoir. No, you go to the abattoir or whatever they call it. That's where you can go and kill your cow, because they are what? They are licensed. You are not licensed. You cannot kill. So if I bring a chicken, and I want to kill a chicken, it's not possible, because they'll tell you can't do that in the city. You need to even go to abattoir to go and do all those things. But in our tradition, this is tell us that. Our tradition, in your house, you can kill any of your animal that you want in your house for what? For meat. Right? Whatever you want, you do that. But in the Western world, or in this 21st century, it is bizarre, right? For you to see that, somebody take a blood and put it in your ear, in your thumb, and in your right toe, and say, you look at, what type of nonsense is this? What kind of ritual is going on? Especially in the book of Leviticus, there are a lot of them. See, but there is a reason that God said, do that. There is a teaching. God is trying to teach us. Why my ear? Why the tongue? And why the toe? Why this? There is a purpose, and let us understand why this. And we can even see this in the book of Exodus, when God said, kill the Paschal lamb and take the blood and put it on your house. And when the angel of death comes, he sees that he will pass over you. He will not. The angel of death will not come inside to do what? To slay, to kill. So in the Eastern world, it is like that. In Africa, maybe in South America, it's the same understanding. It's this understanding. But in the Western world, they have a different, the Greek word, their one is from A and B. But the other word, the Oriental word, the Eastern world, everything is secular, it's holistic. We don't differentiate, we don't separate. Because the Greek word, they want to separate, onto the minute atom. You see, this atom, this is this, they separate. No. In the Oriental world, everything is holistic. You cannot just look one part and say, I want to do the other part. You want to do everything, you do it all complete, holistically. So, let's see. This is exactly the same thing that Moshe was doing. Midrashically, Moshe was keeping them pure to keep the negative energy of corruption far, far, far away from the new priest. His choice of ceremony made a lasting impression upon the new priest. Aaron and his sons were chosen for a unique service to both God and the people of Israel. It was a service rooted in God's direct word to Moshe, and every Israelite knew about that. So this is the reason. As God has commanded Moshe, God said, do this and this and this for your brother Aaron, the Kohen Gadol, because I am choosing him. Remember, Aaron is not elected. It's not an election here that you can vote who's going to become the Kohen Gadol. No, it is by the choosing of God. It's a choice of God. God said, this is the person I want for him to be the Kohen Gadol. And this is what you have to do to cleanse him from every negative energy. I want him to be far away. I want to take it away, far away from every corruption. Remember, human beings are corrupt. Corruption is a virus. It can sneak in, and when it sneaks in, just a minute microscope, you can't even see, and it begins to multiply. It grows and grows and grows and destroys a whole man. And when I mean destroy a whole man, it can destroy a whole country, a whole village, a whole town. Corruption. God wants to keep Aaron and his son as far away from corruption as possible. This is to sanctify them, to cleanse them, to make them ready for the mission ahead. Because the mission ahead is going to be tough. The mission ahead is going to be very, very hard. You have to be a very strong man to be able to stand to say, I don't want to be corrupt. Can you imagine they make you the Prime Minister of Canada? Do you know, the temptation? The lot of temptation. You see the money? Oh man, your eye will look at on the dollars, on the greenback. You say, man, I'm the Prime Minister, I can do whatever I want to do. But a man who is godly will refrain himself. Understand that I am not just a Prime Minister to do whatever I want. I am accountable to the people and to God. The man fears God. The man reverence God. As a Kohen Gadol, you know how many bribes that you can receive? Everybody wants to be your friend because you are the head. Everybody wants to, everybody wants to be part of you, But you have to say, this one is, this is not what God is saying. It is what God is saying. This is what God wants. He said, hey, Kohen Gadol, I'm giving you this 10 million. To sponsor the synagogue. And the man come and it's a criminal. And you cover your eyes. Because he's sponsoring the synagogue. Because if he doesn't sponsor the synagogue, there's going to be a problem. You keep your mouth shut. That is not right. That is not good. If he doesn't want to sponsor the synagogue, go. God will bring another one that will sponsor the synagogue. Your job is to stand up and say the truth. Firm and firm. That is the idea here. So, now, Since God knew that we are only human beings and subject to human fault, we are human beings and we have fault of our own and also some other shortcomings. How better to remind the new priest of their responsibility than with a hand-on ceremony of dabbling on the most vulnerable part of their bodies. The ceremony of putting blood on their earlobe, their thumb, and their big toe was God's way of saying, these are the most vulnerable part of your body. Guide them. Guide them where? If you want to serve me and my people. The most vulnerable part of the human body is your ear, this one, and your toe. You are saying, Rabbi, what do you mean is most vulnerable? It's with the most vulnerable. I'm not the one saying it. It's the Torah. The most vulnerable part of the human body is your ear. This one, your thumb, and your toe. Very vulnerable. Say, oh, how are they vulnerable? Explain. I will explain. Okay. Remember that there is a word that we read every day. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel. Listen. But how many of us do listen? We don't listen. No? This one is the most deadly part in the human body. This one is the most corrupt because this one is one that takes bribe. Rabbi. Okay, I put it, this one takes bribe a lot. Oh, the hand is the only part in the human body that we know that takes bribe. It takes it in. Very vulnerable. And God is telling Aaron, be careful. You come to the altar, right? And you see somebody that comes to the altar to sacrifice. And you, for example, and you go home and say, honey, darling, can you imagine? I saw this man on the altar. Do you know what he told me? He told me all the evil thing he has done. I never believed that this man is as evil as this. You can't do that as a rabbi. Everything that a member tell you is confidential. You can never tell any other hearing. The word that a person tell you in the synagogue, you can never tell your wife. You can never tell any other here. Never. It stays inside you. It's hard. You need to understand that. That is hearing. You hear and you keep your mouth shut. Because the person comes before God, not before you. They come before God, and God is saying, because you are the kohen gadol, the person has to do or confess his sin for the animal to be accepted. Once the person confesses their sin, and you as a rabbi or you as a kohen gadol, your job is to teach the person on how to kill the animal, to direct the person on how the animal is going to be sacrificed. That is your job. Your job is not to judge that person. Your job is not to point finger. Your job is not to do atonement. No. All those ones are in the department of God. God is the one that atoned for our sin. And that is why you see the Pharisee, when they ask Yeshua, say, who are you to forgive sin? Nobody can forgive sin except God. Because that is our tradition. Nobody forgives sin except God. It is God that forgives sin, not a human being. And Yeshua said, for you to understand that the Son of Man can forgive sin, rise and walk. What is Yeshua telling them? It's not that Yeshua is saying, I am God, that I forgive sin. No. The Yeshua is saying, it is the intention of the heart of the man. Because you might bring your cow and everything to God, and you are still pompous and proud. God will not accept it. That's what he's saying. You might be rich. You might say, hey, you know what? I kill somebody today because I'm a millionaire. I bring cow tomorrow. And tomorrow I kill another one. I bring another cow. Or you can continue to do that, and you see that God will accept that. God will not accept that. And we read that also in the book of Ezekiel this morning in the Torah, right? He said, "Oh Israel, return to God. Come back." Because you think that you can do whatever you want to do. No, return home. For my name's sake, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to gather you from all the nations. Bring you back onto your land. I will prosper the land. So that it's not because of you. I'm not doing it because of you, but I'm doing it because of my name. Because you spoiled my name. see, so we need to understand the teaching that the Holy One is teaching us here. So let's quickly finish it. The heir is very vulnerable to corruption. Whenever an Israelite will come before the priest to offer a sin offering, he will confess his sin, and this is the idea that the Catholic they brought. You know, it's a confession of sin. You go to the priest. You know, the priest will open a small window and say, "My son, what did you sin? What did you do? Oh, Reverend Father, I commit a crime. What is a crime? I did a fraud. Which fraud? I steal. You know, I robbed some bank. Okay, go. You know, it is not their own. It is from us. They got that idea from us. So the person will confess his sin unto the Kohen Gadol. Imagine the power that the priest had. This enormous power. Imagine if he went home and tell his wife, "Honey, you know what I saw. You can't guess what I saw today." As I said. And so this idea, you cannot do that, or to say what you had in the temple or in the Mishkan, you can tell your wife at home or tell your children at home. You can't do that. No. So the priest was the job of the priest is to listen only, so that he will be able to help the Israelite, that person with the offering that they came to come and offer. He was not there to offer judgment. No, the priest is not there to judge you. He's not the judge. God is the judge. He's not there to atone for your sin. He cannot forgive you your sin. The priest cannot forgive you your sin. It is God that forgives sin. Your job is to confess, and God will forgive. Okay? So let's see again. He said, and he's not there to advise you. He's not an advisor. That's not his job. His job is just to direct you, to help you on how the sacrifice or the offering can be accepted. All those things I said, the judgment, atonement, and advice, that is the department of God. God deals with that, not the Kohen Gadol or the kohanim or the priest. The priest was there only to make sure the offering was done correctly, good, as God has commanded. In the world of today, we are going to say, what you hear in the altar, stay on the altar. You cannot take it home. No. Anything that you hear from any Israelite on the altar, remain on the altar. As the people will say, what happened in Las Vegas, remain in Las Vegas. That is it. You know, whatever it is, do you hear on the altar, stay there at the altar. Don't take it nowhere. So, let's see about the tongue. The priest's tongue was dug with blood too. Why? Because the human hand is the only part in nature that we know of that accepts bribe. How tempting it will be for for a man in such a power as the priest to accept a little protexia. And what is the meaning of protexia? Protexia here meaning is an access to a crony. You know a crony? A crony is a person that defends your interest. A crony is a person that defends your interest. You know, that amigo is my crony, meaning amigo always defends my interest. So you make the Kohen Gadol, you make the kohanim your crony. You say, I can do whatever I want to do because he will always defend me. You know, that is what we see in today's world. No, justice is perverse. The poor goes to jail. The rich are set free because the rich has the power to buy a lawyer. They can buy the biggest lawyer in the world. And remember, those lawyers and those judges are friends. They play golf together. They play tennis together. No? And their association is together. And so if a lawyer James come before me and said, this my client, and you know the client is a millionaire, right? He has given James 10 million to defend him. And I look at James, man, I cannot tell James no, because James is my friend. Or James' son is the husband of my daughter. But I go, they buy among themselves. They are all friends. So I say, okay, James, your client is free. And you, because you have no money, you go to jail. That is the idea. That is what people do now. You cannot afford the lawyer, you go to jail. You can afford the lawyer, you are a free man forever. So, as a Kohen Gadol, you cannot do that. Because At the end, from the money that the client paid James, James will come and pay me and accept the bribe. That is, and God said you cannot do that as a Kohen Gadol, because as a Kohen Gadol, people will bring cases before you, right? For you to do what? To decide. Even though if the rich man is at fault, you tell the rich man you're at fault, you pay compensation to the poor man. If the poor man is at fault, I'm not saying that you should, because he's a poor man, then you free him. No. If the poor man is at fault, you pay the consequences. It doesn't matter. God is not a person that looks at people's face. No. You say exactly what God has told. You hear this matter, make a conclusion. So, finally, the toe. And what about the toe? Why God is saying, anoint the toe, the right one? I think the toe are the most neglected part of the human body, which is true. If you take care of your toes, nobody care about their toes. You just take a walk because we don't even remember them, right? We don't remember it at all. We only remember our toe when something happens to it. Either we use our leg to kick it, so you remember that you have a toe, or somebody step on your toes. You remember that you have it. Before, you don't even, it's automatic. You don't even remember that you have a toe. No? So, what is God telling us here? The toe, is it to walk? No. Our toe is not to walk. And, I asked yesterday at El Shabbat, all of them say it's to walk. No. Our toe is not for walking. Our toe is for balancing. To balance. That is walk. The big toe is to balance. So I can stand erect, that you don't fall. You see, when you have it, when you injure your toe, what do? You begin to live because you cannot stand perfectly well because it's painful. But when it's not painful, it's to balance. So, and this is what God is saying here. The Kohen Gadol has to stand balance. You have to balance. You cannot move to this side, you cannot move to this side. You have to stay in the same line. In the line that God has commanded. You stand there. Don't improvise, or what do you call it? Improvise. Don't think that you are smarter. Let me improve. No, God doesn't want you to improve. God wants you to. If God says, I want you to be primitive, stay the way God wants you to be primitive. Stay that way. If God wants you to say, I want you to become smarter, He gives you another instruction. I want you to be smarter. Then you follow that. So this is the idea. You cannot say you are smarter than your Creator or your God that is commanding you. Say, okay, God, you know what? This animal, God said, go do it on the north side. Say, no, because the north side is too much animal there. Let me take it to the south side. God is not commanding the south side. Continue on the north side. Everything has to be balanced. So, now, the priest had to, at all times, hold his identity in balance. He was, after all, the center of the community and chosen by God. His job was ripe for accusation of corruption, or worse, and Hebrews at best. How each understood himself and his position will give rise in future generations to both the most glorious chapter in the Hebrew history and some of his worst embarrassment in moment. Because we can see, we also have in the history of our people some kohanim that messed up a lot. Kohanim that begin to abuse the temple or the Mishkan. They go there, they don't even care. I can give us an example. The son of Eli. The son of Eli, you know, in the Torah, in the book of Samuel, they don't care. The sacrifice is not even done. You know, they desecrated the temple of God. These are kohanim that they understood the instruction that God has given. That you have to do things precisely as God has commanded. And they talk to the father to Eli. I talked to them. They said, okay. Because of that, the man died. The Kohen Gadol, you know how he died? A terrible death. He fell and broke his neck. How can that be for a Kohen Gadol? Because it's not. They say he didn't train his children well. His children follow women, do everything they want to do. No. That is not your job as a kohanim. You have to be respectful because the eyes of the community is upon you. Right? You are the center, the leader of the people. And if you are behaving like that, how do you want other human beings on the floor, in the community, to behave? You are more wise. You are more intellectual because you read the Torah every time. Those people that don't even know how to read and write, but you understand all these things, but you are still behaving like a baby. So this is what God is saying. We cannot do that. We have to be balanced. We have to know what we are doing. Because the things of God is precise. And if you don't do it the way it is commanded, may God have mercy. You might face the consequence and the terrible one. So, finally, what is true of those ancient priests, what is true of the Kohen Gadol in those days is also true of us today. God said to the Israelites, to the people, to our people, you are a kingdom of priests, a holy people. Remember, we are holy people unto God. We are separate people unto God. He said, every Israelite, whether descendant from the priest or a new member in the community, we are all holy and we are part of the kingdom. Though we do not put blood now in our ears, in our thumb, and in our toe now, but nevertheless, the lesson must never be evaded. The lesson should never be forgotten. It's a lesson. It's a teaching tool that God is teaching us. We are all Israelites here. We are all Hebrew here. And we have to say, forget about that. That is Old Testament. As people will say, oh, it's garbage. It doesn't, I don't put blood in my ear now or in my thumb or in my toe. It's nonsense. It is not about the putting of the blood, it's the lesson. It's a teaching that God is a teaching tool that God is teaching us as an individual. Because you might say, I am not a Kohen Gadol. No, you are a Kohen Gadol in your home. Because the day you begin to favor one child against the other, the day that family collapse. Oh, I love this child more than this child. You think that is normal as a father or as a mother? No. Even though you have, it's natural that a parent likes one children more than the other. It's normal. I'm not saying it's bad. Yeah, that is normal. Because maybe one child listens more than the other. Maybe one child is more brighter than the other. Maybe it's not any reason based on you. I don't know. But you cannot show it. That's the point. That must reside inside you. Never show. But the day you begin to show it, and the child, they begin to recognize and see that mama doesn't like me, you destroy yourself. Because they will say, oh, you know what? I grew up, my mama never loved me, my papa never loved me, but my sister, my brother, they love me or her. No, you are Kohen Gadol in your family. So you have to understand this principle. It's also for me and you. Not just only for the Kohen Gadol, it's for every community of Israel. So, we are the Hebrew people. And the Torah called us Nifha. What does that mean? Choosing. Nifha meaning to be choosing. We are choosing people. But like the priest, this hardly means better. No, choosing does not equate better. No. Because we have this idea in our head that many people think that because I'm choosing that I'm better than the person that is not choosing. No. That's nothing to do with that. If you are choosing, there's a purpose, there's a reason God choose you. Not because you are better than your fellow other people. No. Because the Torah said that Israel is the littlest, the weakest, the worst of all the people. But I choose you for a reason. To make you an example. Right? So that through you, other people might come unto me. It's not that we are the best people in the world. No. It's not that we are the smartest people in the world. No. It's not that we are the strongest people in the world. No. Capital zero. No. But there is a reason why God chose Abraham and his descendants to follow after him. So that other people can follow. Through them, other nations can come and follow God. So, the most important thing, before you can call yourself that I am a choosing person, is all about responsibility. To be choosing is responsibility. It's a weight. Remember, the Torah is a yoke. That's what. Remember that. Torah is a yoke. It's a weight on your shoulder that you have to carry. To show example to the world. Not to be worse than the people of the world. If you are worse than the people of the world, how can they come unto you? Because they look at you and say, oh, if this is the way they behave, I better remain in my own way. Because me, I will never join these type of people. When you begin to kill innocent Palestinians that has nothing to do with any Hamas, that is bad. You can do that. You can't put a collective punishment against a nation, the people. Baby, children, slaughtered like chicken. No, that is not acceptable. That is not what God is saying. God will judge at the acceptable time. That's my point. So we cannot be a fanatics. No, Israel is better than that. If you are a true Israelite, you are better than that. Except you are this religious dogma, fanatics. I want Messiah to come now. Let me cause third world war so that the Messiah will come. You cause third world war, you will die for nothing's sake. Because it is not the time of God. If God wants the Messiah to come today, He will do it. That is God. You cannot force God's hand. No. Let all the rabbis understand this. We cannot force God's hand. When God decides, God will do it on His own accepted time. So we cannot be killing innocent for saying that that the Messiah should come, wasting blood. No. So it is all about responsibility. It's responsibility for each and every one of us to be called the chosen people. The title is a title to be chosen, and there's a responsibility upon it to behave like the children of the living God. Parashat, Tzav. Shabbat Shalom.